Good morning, everyone. I think there's a couple of words in some of our founding documents that are really important, particularly if you are a fan of this great experiment in democracy that we call the United States of America. Those words are as follows: we hold these truths to be self-evident. If you look at the construct of that phrase, you understand that the author and the folks who signed and supported that document understood the idea of evidence, analysis, theory, and the philosophy of science that was prevalent during the Enlightenment. Science is the reason that the United States of America was founded on what we still call an experiment, to try and try and try again, regardless of the road bumps and the failures, regardless of what the results bared out by the research, regardless of what the data is. We can improve this democracy. We can improve the way we treat one another as citizens. Life and liberty and the pursuit of happiness can very easily be equated to mind and body and spirit when we use our minds, when we use our logic, and when we use our reason. The March for Science is not so much about politics, but about elevating the discussion in the United States of America and our body politic into realizing that data-driven research, that looking into and inquiring about the world around us, here and abroad, is why we got the kind of democracy that we got. It is why science matters in the world now more than ever. It is with this same approach that we have moved forward in the Maricopa County Recorder's Office. Just over 2 years ago, so many of our own brothers and sisters right here in Maricopa County were denied the right to vote because the administrators of our elections were not using data, they were not using science, they were not using intelligent analysis to plan out the execution of an election. Logistics escaped them, and they've been replaced by you, the voters. And in that same vein, I challenged my staff just over a year ago to create a new check-in system or go back to paper rosters at the polling places. And now we've already seen the tests come through. In the fall of 2017, we reduced an average of over 2,800 provisional ballots down to 44. We've reduced with this technology the length of time it takes an individual voter to check in from something near 4 minutes to something less than 1 minute. We've discovered that we have to implement new modes of double-checking for duplicate voter registrations in our county. Some methods are too narrow, some methods are too broad, and so we are undergoing what I like to call the Goldilocks project to get those duplicate averages right into that sweet spot, and that requires science. And so I implore you to look not only at those questions, but also some of the other questions that we have in our society and apply the information and data that we see. You used to be able to work a summer job to pay for the next year's tuition in college. How do the numbers bear out now? You used to be able to afford certain things, certain luxuries, and certain ways of living. How do those averages bear out now? Science is not just about black holes and test tubes. Science is about the way we treat one another in a free society, and science needs to come back into government in a robust manner so we can support one another. Now, I can stand here and give you examples about what happened in the time of the founding of this nation. I can tell you about what happens at the county recorder's office when we utilize data analysis, stronger security, and other sorts of scientific methods to improve your voting experience. The challenge isn't about the past or what we're doing. The challenge has to go to you. What are you doing in your day-to-day life to help people understand that science is not something to be feared because it is hard? Science is something to be embraced, like JFK, because it is hard. That is important. You must work at it. That hard-working spirit, like JFK said, would get us to the moon, and it did. How much further can we advance our society if we continue to work, if we continue to get ourselves registered and bother to engage in our civic society the way those founders did those many years ago? Back then, women could not vote. Back then, people of color were considered 3/5 of a person. And because we've grown as a society to understand and tolerate different ways of thinking, not only that, but to expand our use of technology and data in treating one another better, providing better medicine, providing longer life, providing all of the things that science can, we can become that greater society that science allows us to become. And whether you believe it was because of a chemical reaction or whether you believe that our Creator endowed us with it, it is a betrayal to both if we do not use our brains to advance our society. Thank you.